For this problem, it asks us to choose a domain for which each function is defined. And the key thing to note is that domain means our x values. And we need to know two main things that restrict our domain. For 1 over x, let's say we have a variable at the bottom, x cannot be 0. That would make our function undefined. Another thing is if you have a radical square root of x, right? X has to be greater than or equal to 0. And if you notice in all of our 4 functions, we actually don't have any square root, so we don't need to focus on that. Let's look at our first problem. Here we have an x at the bottom, and we know that cannot be equal to 0. So that's our first answer. And the next thing is we have x plus 4 on the bottom. So let's make the same rule. That cannot be equal to 0. If I solve on both sides, my inequality sign, I know x cannot be equal to negative 4. Here, we see our common mistake. People see x and x plus 4 and assume that our answer has to be both of our previous answers. However, if you notice, there's no fraction. It's all in the numerator. There's no denominator. That means we're not restricted, so it's all real numbers. And last but not least, we have our last function. And I want to be very careful here. It's very hard to tell when it's in standard form, so we want to factor it out. Our factors of 16, right, are 4 and 4, and they add up to 8. So we know it's x plus 4 plus 4. So we actually get the same answer. As our previous one, x could not be equal to negative 4.